in all aspects of our lives. And ahead of the much anticipated address by President Cyril Ramaphosa tonight at 8 p.m., South Africa and the world, I guess, remains in the throes of this pandemic. But thanks to a partnership between the Ladysmith Black Mambazo Mobile Academy and the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, young people impacted by COVID-19 continue to receive some training in the arts and culture space. Let's get more on this. We're joined via Zoom by the Sports, Arts and Culture Director-General Vusumuzi Mkhize. Sir, thank you very much indeed for your time.
No, thanks very much for having me, and good morning to you and your viewers at home.
Every bit counts, I guess, in a time of COVID. With regards to the sports, arts and culture space, talk to us about this partnership between Ladysmith Black Mambazo.
So thanks very much. Maybe we must start by indicating that in any country, the young people are a future. And one of the key components for that development is creativity. That if it is nurtured, it is then given an opportunity to flourish. Now, the old man, Ndade Shabalala, one of his visions was to have the sustainability of this genre, Istratamia, or what others call it, a cappella. And in that regard, then Mambazo decided to have the academy that they believe will then assist in passing this particular genre from generation to generation. And that is why then as a department, given an opportunity of a 5 times Grammy Award winner partner who shares the same vision as our mandate, Mambazo then became an automatic choice when they approached us with this big vision to take this Istratamia beyond the borders of what was regarded as, maybe if I can put it, Zulu music. And we believed that all South Africans have ability to enjoy and sing this particular genre of music. And that's why we became partners to make the dream of Ndade Shabalala a reality.
So practically, how does it work? And talk to us about the response that you have received so far.
No, it's been an amazing response. This started almost 3 years ago, but it was interrupted by COVID. But the bigger vision was that the Mobile Academy will then move from province to province and unearth talent, then nurture it. But what was most important so far has been that it was not just about singing. It was more about honing the skills, entrepreneurial skills that Mambazo already have, and that they can then pass on to the people to understand what it means to be in business of music. So the skills on the entrepreneurial side was one of the critical things we thought was powerful and meaningful to provide support to the creatives. The second thing was that this is a creative genre that passes culture from one generation to another. So if they were to use it throughout the world, it becomes an economic powerhouse that is not only within the borders of South Africa, but our young people from all corners of South Africa can then be partners with Mambazo to a level where they can be taken abroad for them to display this particular genre, because the world had embraced it in a manner that they have. So with the ladies in Northern Cape singing in Afrikaans, it changed the whole dynamic about the perception of this type of genre. But if you listen to those in Mpumalanga singing in their own language, not being forced to sing in Zulu or any other language, then they've got those that are unearthing in Limpopo, there are those that are unearthing in Western Cape. So it has become something that the feedback we're receiving, something that is venturous, visionary, but most importantly, rewarding in building this Stratamia so that it has a future and it doesn't die. It has been really an amazing feedback. And I think SABC's efforts to continue to broadcast and support Mambazo in the past 2 weeks in this program has also created a lot of awareness that there is also here opportunity to generate income. But what is great also is that they keep the master copy. Mambazo are not selfish. They are saying, we unearthed you, we are taking your master copy of this music. They keep it, they keep their intellectual property rights, but they are being taught what it means to contract so that you are not exploited. So all these things become infused as training plus expression of your talent. Then they will record them to have their videos. Then they expose them in terms of partnership with broadcasters. And all of this then makes them find this particular type of genre, a rewarding exercise. We don't want only one Mambazo in this country. We are so endowed with this talent that all the youth in South Africa who are interested in this type of music can really utilize this opportunity, exploit it, and become the best they can be using the power of arts and their God-given talent of music.
Look, DG, I think the one thing that we can agree on is that South Africa has an abundance of talent, and I guess it makes that part of the mission of this partnership that much more easier when you're going around the country. It also has one would say, an aspect of social cohesion, isn't it? How important is social cohesion, especially in these challenging times of COVID-19?
Social cohesion and nation building is a cornerstone for our democratic dispensation, where we're coming from a very, unfortunately, a very divided past and a painful past of exploitation and racial supremacy. So when others are singing in Afrikaans, others are singing in Tswana, and they dance in Tswana using their steps, you will realize that as they bring them together, I think in July next month, you will see how people from various backgrounds will begin to appreciate one another. They share their culture, because even the steps that they do, they did not impose their Mambazo step. Instead, they said, use your culture, use your own dance, and use your own experiences in Northwest, so that you are able to find expression of yourself and be yourself. So this has built a sense of belonging, a sense of saying, we might be divided in terms of how we understand one another, in terms of how our cultures are, but this must be our strength rather than something that divides us. So it builds that, and it has removed the idea that Mambazo is about singing music. Look at their collaborations that they will have with them. They will become a powerful tool to inspire young people from other different cultures to enjoy this music, but make business of this music. Paul Simon, through collaboration with Mambazo, they were able to unleash so much interest in South African music. So they will become ambassadors of South Africa's country. But first, charity begins at home. If we are able to make sure that through this music and this genre, we build this social cohesion and nation building, which it becomes natural through art, through culture, through sport. And therefore, then I believe that it's one of the amazing things that we hope to continue to achieve and solidify, because we do need a united South Africa where we appreciate one another's culture. It doesn't matter whether it's through music or through culinary or through dance or through a fashion. Because even here, what is amazing is that they will then promote their own fashion on how, if I'm Xhosa, I am singing on a stage in Mambazo, I expose the Xhosa dress designs. If I am in Limpopo, I use, whether it's baby or vendor dress, it just makes us appreciate one another so much more than we do if we were to preach about it rather than to practice through this Mambazo initiative of the Mobile Academy.
Yes, the key is we, sir. Especially during a time of COVID, we need to, sounds a bit weird, but we need to come together by staying apart. The president is going to be addressing the nation tonight, 8 p.m. We expect the address. Your expectations as the department, if there are further restrictions, how is it going to affect your space, arts, culture?
First, we must accept that because of the nature of the arts and culture, as well as sport, where we've got an issue of gatherings, and we practice, our creatives practice their skills and their own genres in a space where there must be participation and engagement with people. It has been quite a difficult road since March 2020. They have faced serious hardships. And unfortunately, with this third wave, we are going, I think, to face, even we are already facing bigger challenges in Gauteng. And I think the space would be affected quite negatively again, stretching the pain and the suffering of our creatives and our sports athletes. But we are hoping that with the work done by government on the vaccinations, and as that gets rolled out faster, we should be able eventually to get the sector back on its feet and economic recovery programs. And remember, it is also one of the mechanisms that keeps our emotional and psychological being sound. And we don't want this to continue, because then we find a dual pandemic of gender-based violence and femicide. And we need to fight this together. And the creatives are the people who provide the most sanity under very difficult times. But with the third wave, I think we need to work together with South Africans, not just as a sector, to try and combat this, whatever restrictions that government comes up with, and whatever the president pronounces. It is only in the best interest that we save lives, and then we look at other mechanisms of economic, keeping the economy open, but without risking lives at the same time. So it's a very difficult balancing act. And for our sector, with the restrictions on gatherings, the effects are much more devastating, unfortunately. But we'll continue to work with the sector to try and see how we minimize the impact.
We got to get to a better place. How? Strategy is important. Accountability is also fundamentally important as well. We'll see how it unfolds tonight when the president makes delivers his announcement or addresses the nation at 8 p.m. But we thank you very much indeed for coming on and giving some insight into this partnership as well. Be well.
Thank you very much, and let's continue to support the Mambazo Mobile Academy. And thanks very much for the work done by SABC thus far. We really appreciate it.
All right,
thanks.
God bless. That was Sports Arts and Culture Director-General Vusumuzi Mkhize. They're talking about these various initiatives aimed at promoting social cohesion and the plight of young people.